Hello there. If you like truth, you'll like it here. Welcome. At the end of this video, I will read what is reported to have happened in detail to Mahogany Jackson. Though I supply a brief summary in the video, I am putting the details at the end of the video so that those who would be triggered or who'd rather not know can be spared. What happened to this young lady is nothing short of horrendous, and it will be hard to hear. I really struggled with whether or not to put it in, and had decided that I would not, which is why it isn't found within the core video. At the last minute, I ultimately decided to add it, as its details are what moved me to action to make a video about it in the first place. So here goes. Stay tuned until the very end if you want to know, or head out after my Just Cancel Me Now outro if you'd rather not. Do what you have to take care of yourselves. Now, on to the video. I am a loner, fiercely independent. I pretty much keep to myself, preferring a life of quiet simplicity and peace. I never have to raise my voice. I never, or maybe extremely rarely, have to get out of pocket with anyone. I smile daily and laugh out loud regularly. But that's because I limit my intake of foolishness and foolish people. I don't prefer to be around them, so I don't. And because I tend to say how I feel and call a thing, they won't like being around me. So it works out perfectly. Now that's not to say a person can't be a loner or keep to themselves and not also be a good or fun time. My friends and family love it when I come around, as do most I encounter, because I am a riot and truly enjoy life. But I enjoy it on my terms, and with no obligation to carry anyone alongside me, nor any obligation to accompany them. Some people don't realize that they have no friends. They just think they do. They don't realize that their friends are the very ones hurting them or talking about them behind their backs. After all, isn't it the ones we're closest to that can and often do hurt us the most? Some people don't realize that their friends are only their friends because of where they are in life. Their friends like seeing them sad, down, struggling, depressed, and they continue to stay their quote-unquote friends only as long as they stay in those lanes. But the minute they excel or accelerate, the minute they go to a new level, those same quote-unquote friends will be the ones trying to keep them down, or at a minimum, they will be the ones trying to see what they can get from them. And if they can't get anything, or even if they do, they will still turn on you because they were only comfortable with you being at a low level they found comfortable. You getting better, going further, is going to elicit envy, anger, and hate. And you won't see it coming because you thought they were your friends and had you, when the only thing they had was every intention to stab you in the back as soon as they had any excuse to do so. Be smart, guys. We have got to start teaching our kids and the young folks that it's okay to walk alone. It's okay to not surround yourself with people as cushions for getting through the impacts of life. We have better options if and when we need that kind of support. And y'all know who I'm talking about. Now, of course, this doesn't apply to everyone. And some people will have great friends. But what happened to this young lady, Mahogany Jackson, is starting to happen all too often. This Shanquella Robinson effect is becoming commonplace, and we've got to have these conversations so we can protect our youth. So let's start the conversation. Let me first tell you about Mahogany Jackson. Mahogany Jackson was a 20-year-old mother of a 3-year-old from Birmingham, Alabama, who, approximately 2 weeks ago, was held against her will and tortured for hours. 8 people, though rumored to be as many as 10, and consisting of both males and females, many of whom she called her friends, either participated in or watched and recorded as Mahogany was stripped, handcuffed, beaten, spit on, and essayed at gunpoint. She was then shot in the back of the head, and her body was left under a mattress at an illegal dump site referred to as Dead Man's Road. Mahogany Jackson went over to the home where she would later suffer her torture and demise with someone she thought was a friend. But things turned, with videos showing one animal in her face arguing with her as others looked and egged things on. Eventually, others joined in on the attack, as bystanders watched and filmed, with some of the bystanders taking advantage of the young woman's vulnerable position to SA her, simply because she was there, unprotected, and they could. No one would stop them, the same way no one had stopped the beating. Each person was emboldened by the next person, whether emboldened by their egging on or their lack of care and concern, and thus elevated the assault to the next level, then the next, then the next. Even after the young lady, Mahogany Jackson, told her captors that they had, quote unquote, won, they continued on with the abuse and torture, like a frenzied, heightened pack of wild dogs, until all had done everything they wanted to do to her. Then they unalived her and discarded her body like she was nothing and no one. Thankfully, due to the idiot's 5 recordings and one of them telling someone what they'd done, 6 of the 8 were captured, with the other 2 additional animals being identified by the other animals on the videotape. I am grateful that these demons were caught, but the young lady in question, Mahogany Jackson, is still gone and leaves behind a motherless 3-year-old daughter. The worst part of all this, or maybe I should say one of the worst parts, as there were so many, was that all of these people ganged up on this woman, with many watching and using this as an opportunity to get involved in the attack just because she was vulnerable. Or, just as bad, they did nothing at all. This is why I hate a bully. You have heard me say this time and time again. It is my channel's very premise. And I do mean I despise a bully. They are the ultimate cowards, having to rely on the strength of others to push their harmful agendas, or to push their groupthink mentality onto others. This is what happened here. The initial animal, 26-year-old Tasia Lewis, who Mahogany Jackson likely could have taken on her own, was emboldened by all those apathetic males and females who stood by and watched. They did nothing to help, never intervened. In fact, they egged it on. This is why I speak up about people like Dr. Hellish and Martell Holt's baby mama. Too many people watch bullies bully, and they say and do nothing. As a matter of fact, despite Dr. Hellish being an actual menace to others on the show, I had a commenter tell me my response to her was harsh. She didn't use the word harsh, but it is what she meant. Well, my belief is that my response to her was truth, which no one seems to be speaking to this oversized, bestial bully. Why do we do that? Why do we get more upset about the correction of bad behavior than we do about the bad behavior itself? Why are we more upset about a white person killing one of us than we are about us killing hundreds of us a day? Yes, both are upsetting, but why don't we picket and organize and protest when we are the ones doing the killing of our own brothers and sisters? Why do we accept it as long as it comes from us? Why do we come to the defense of rappers who rap about selling drugs in our community and actually violating and disrespecting our women, going so far as to stage turf wars behind these community morality killers? Why are we Team Cardi B or Team Nicki Minaj when both sing about things that are lewd and disrespectful to women and our communities? Both of these bleached plastic women have referred to black women as nappy-headed in one context or another. And you know what they are talking about when they call our women nappy. They are talking about women who haven't bleached and plasticized themselves. They are talking about women with ethnic features and ethnic hair. And yet these same women with these same features still listen to these same quote-unquote entertainers, like their insults aren't racially motivated and steeped in oppression and historical subjugation of our people and our aesthetic. Nicki Minaj and Cardi B couldn't sing me the numbers to a winning lottery ticket. They couldn't rap me the next billion-dollar idea, because I'd never hear it, because I'd never hear them. I don't listen to or support people who tarnish my community and our ideals, who, because they've injected themselves with plastic and reformulated themselves to look as Eurocentric as possible, just with our badunkadunks, now want to insult our women because they didn't fall prey to the self-hatred they fell prey to. No, ma'am. No, sir. Not me, not today. But many of us do. Many of us sit back and see our communities destroyed by everything from rap lyrics to songs to gunfire to the ignorant notion of don't snitch. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. I'll just let these hellions run amok and terrorize my neighborhood and community, and I won't tell a soul. I will watch them pick off people I love, like it's some type of carnival game, and I won't say a thing. No, ma'am. No, sir. Not me. Not today. Why are we so apathetic? Why don't we care about anything anymore? Not about us, not about each other, not about our kids being safe, not about our women being protected, not about our men being uplifted, not about our families being destroyed. Nothing, except maybe Beyonce's new song or who the rapper Future impregnated. We've got to do better, guys. And until we do, we are going to have more Shanquella Robinsons and now Mahogany Jacksons. I don't usually get upset, and I certainly don't get upset easily, because I used to have a temper, and I learned it was best to keep it under wraps instead of trying to get it back under wraps. But if I have one more person tell me my reaction to someone crapping all over our people is worse than the actual crapping all over our people, I am gonna scream. I am gonna scream, and I'm gonna slap 3 people. And I've already told y'all I don't like to raise my voice. So let's be better. Let's get involved. Let's speak up. Let's turn the radio off if the lyrics violate us. Let's stop a bully from bullying, even if no one else steps up. Silence is compliance. And sometimes a bully has been met with silence for so long that they no longer see the wrong in what they do, or they don't care. That is what is happening with Dr. Hellish and what ultimately happened to Mahogany Jackson. At any point, any person could have intervened and saved this girl's life. One word, enough, could have ended this whole ordeal. But no one said or did anything. They watched, listened, and at times waited for their turns. This is beyond sad, but it's becoming more and more of what we do. I have said it before, that I don't believe in canceling anyone. That's why I parody it in my channel name, Just Cancel Me Now, as if to say, I'm going to say some things that differ from the popular opinion, so you might as well just cancel me now. But this time, I am going to make an exception. Let's cancel apathy in 2024 and get our hands dirty and our feet wet. Let's get involved in saving and restoring our communities and our expectations of each other. And let's not wait until we have another Mahogany Jackson to bury to do it. All right, y'all. That's it, and that's all. Hello there. If you like truth, you'll like it here. Welcome. If you don't, or if you believe in groupthink, or bullying others into believing the popular opinion, then this isn't the place for you. So go ahead and just cancel me now. On this channel, we don't discuss my truth or your truth. We discuss the truth, and no topic is off limits. So, log in, like, subscribe, get comfy, and comment. It's nice to have you here. So let's talk. Mahogany Jackson's captors recorded her torture and horrific final moments, police testify. Story by Carol Robinson, found on AL.com. Mahogany Jackson, a Birmingham mother, held against her will and tortured for hours before she was killed by a gunshot to the back of the head, was stripped, handcuffed, beaten, spit on, and forced to perform X acts at gunpoint, a detective testified on Monday. The horrifying ordeal was recorded by some of the 8 suspects charged in Jackson's death, police testified. 3 of the suspects, Brandon Pope, 24, Francis Ace Harris, 25, and Jeremiah Kodak McDowell, 18, are charged with capital murder during a first-degree kidnapping and capital murder during first-degree sodomy. Authorities said Monday that Harris is the suspect they believe fired the fatal shot. A projectile was recovered from Jackson's head. Jackson leaves behind a 3-year-old daughter. 5 others are charged with felony murder. Tasia Lewis, 26, Sanaya McCall, 23, Giovanni Clapp, 23, Blair Green, 25, and Ariana Lachey Robinson, 23. They are also accused of first-degree kidnapping and first-degree sodomy. Additionally, Lewis and Clapp are also charged with second-degree assault for allegedly pistol whipping Jackson. The 3 capital murder suspects are being held without bond. The 5 suspects not charged with a capital offense appeared Monday before Jefferson County Judge Keisha Davis. After hearing almost 2 hours of chilling testimony, the judge ruled there were no conditions under which the suspects could be released on bond that would keep the community safe, or even the suspects safe. The community is outraged, Judge Davis said. Lewis and Green also had their bonds on previous charges revoked. Lewis for discharging a firearm into an occupied building, and Green for burglary. Jackson's mother, Gail Maddox Trotter, was in court for the testimony and visibly distraught throughout the proceedings. Obviously, it was another difficult day for the family, hearing that testimony, said Jefferson County District Attorney Danny Carr. We assured them that we're going to do the best we can to bring justice and hold them accountable for the horrific acts perpetrated against Mahogany. This is a marathon, not a sprint, Carr said of the trek toward justice. The investigation began just before 8 a.m. on Sunday, February 25th, when Jackson messaged family members that she was being held hostage in Apartment 3 at Serenity Apartments in Southwest Birmingham. She sent her location and told them not to call her, but to call police. Her body was found in the early morning hours of Monday, February 26th, under a mattress at an illegal dump site in the 1700 block of Laurel Avenue, that is known as Dead Man's Road. Under questioning by Jefferson County Deputy District Attorney Carissa Henrick, Birmingham homicide detective Mark Green testified in detail at Monday's Anaya's Law hearing about Jackson's ordeal. Green testified that as investigators were at the site where Jackson's body was found, a witness contacted police with details and videos of what had taken place. That witness told police Harris told him he shot Jackson, and he identified all of those involved in Jackson's abduction. There were 5 videos in all, Green said. Most of the videos were recorded by McDowell, with portions of them also videoed by McCall. The abduction began at the McMillan Avenue home of Pope, Green said. Authorities said Jackson arrived at Pope's home Saturday night with several of the suspects, all of whom she knew. One of the videos, taken outside Pope's house, showed Lewis and McCall stomping and spitting on Jackson. Jackson was on the ground, Green testified, while she was repeatedly assaulted by several of the suspects. At one point, Lewis was straddling Jackson while punching her in the head. The video shows Jackson saying that her attackers had won and to just let her go. In one of the videos, Green testified, Lewis was seen taking off Jackson's shirt. Lewis also was videoed dragging the nude Jackson by her hair toward a vehicle. McCall was seen on the video yelling for someone to pop the trunk, Green said. Clapp, he said, was recording at that point. Jackson was then moved to Serenity Apartments, where Lewis and McCall were roommates. 4 more videos were recorded there, the detective said. Jackson was then shown being forced to perform orally on defendant Blair Green. Lewis and McCall, the detective said, were holding Jackson at gunpoint, forcing her into the X act. The SA was taking place in McCall's bedroom. Lewis, investigator Green said, was holding the back of Jackson's head, and McCall was holding the gun and recording the assault. Clapp, he said, was also present and urging on the SA, saying Jackson, quote-unquote, better do it right. McCall, the detective said, threatened something would happen to Jackson if Blair Green did not, quote-unquote, enjoy the oral X. At one point, McCall made Jackson pull down her pants and told McDowell to SA her. There was no testimony indicating another SA took place. All of the suspects were at Lewis's apartment at one time or another, while Jackson was being held against her will. Robinson, Detective Green said, got there not long before the ordeal ended, but was seen on video getting in Jackson's face and pinning her against the wall. She was reportedly not there during the SA. Suspect Green and Clapp had left at that point. Jackson was then taken from Lewis's apartment by Pope, Harris, and McDowell, the investigator said. Authorities believe she was then fatally shot shortly after sending the help messages to her family. After they left, Lewis, McCall, and Robinson said they went to pick up Robinson's children. When initially questioned by police, Lewis and McCall denied any knowledge of the incident. They changed their statements after being shown the videos, Green testified. Attorneys for the 5 felony murder suspects attempted to lessen their clients' culpability in the crimes. Suspect Green's attorney said his client did not touch or harm Jackson while she was being forced to perform orally on him. Some of the other attorneys admitted their clients may have participated in the assaults, but were not present when Jackson was killed. The detective testified to at least 2 statements being made throughout Jackson's captivity alluding to death, including that Jackson was, quote-unquote, fixin' to die. This was a horrific attack perpetrated against Miss Jackson, Henrik said. She was subjected for a period of time to, there's really no other way to say it, torture, which ultimately led to her death. The nature of these offenses was horrific, Henrik said. All right, y'all. That's it, and that's all.